And
we're doing it live, folks.
We're doing it live, so let's get into it. Okay, so who we are, first of all, I'm Austin, I'm the application dev. We have Topher here, protocol dev. And we started this project out of last year's TabConf, and we won first place. Topher had worked a lot with Frost before. He's written his own Frost library. He nerd-sniped me, and I'm trying to make really good experiences and make it very usable for this important problem that we all have. So yeah, that's kind of the background from us. So the project started out with a hackathon, and we kept on working on it for almost a year, which is pretty crazy to think. Okay, Nostr's biggest problem. Key management sucks. You have a single key, you have a single point of failure. This is a very hot key, you're using it all the time. It's not a single sig in cold storage necessarily. You've got this environment of insecure signers. And of course, there's a lot to lose. You are investing your whole identity into Nostr, and so you don't want to have that be stolen. And of course, if it does get lost, there's no way to recover it, there's no way to delegate or tell anyone that, no, this is me now, my identity got stolen. So I see this as Nostr's biggest problem, is key management. And FROSTR fixes this, flipping all these on their head. FROSTR is multi-key, it's multi-signature. Multiple devices need to be compromised. Some keys you might keep hot on signers, some keys you might keep cold. It's whatever your threat model is. And then you have low trust in signers. The signer environment may still be a little bit sketchy in Nostr, but you don't need to trust those signers to the same degree. And of course, if you lose a key, you can just replace it, and you can rotate your key set. You can have a new 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5 in just a minute, and then you can invalidate any of those old or lost keys. And so it's a pretty powerful and practical setup for the individual in that regard. Okay, so what is FROST? FROST stands for Flexible Round Optimized Short Threshold Signatures. And it's a protocol for allowing a group of people that don't necessarily trust each other be able to generate a key together and then contribute signatures and sign messages. And what's so cool about it, and so cool about short signatures, which both Bitcoin and Nostr use, is that you can have this multi-sig-like signature aggregation, but on the other side, the other person doesn't know. They just see a valid signature. So it's very, very private. And so, Frost, this pretty in-depth protocol, we could say a lot about it, but, putting it simply, it allows you to split up a secret into a threshold of keys, and it allows you to, in a round-optimized way, commit and sign messages within your group. And so, a little bit in depth, there's a lot going on here. This is kind of a little bit of how I break it down. It's a complicated protocol to implement, right? You need to distribute these keys to your signers, and then every round they have to commit to what they're going to sign, and then they have to sign it, and it causes this back and forth communication, which we would call a highly interactive protocol. Not ideal.
A quick question to the audience. How many of you are familiar with Frost? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very few people.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't familiar, this is very complicated. And this is why Frost has taken a very long time to show up in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah, so people have been working on Frost on Bitcoin for a long time. And really the reason that we've been able to make FROSTR work so quickly is because we're building it for the individual. You're not an adversary with yourself, and so you can have your own quorum and trust yourself, hopefully. And so from Frost to FROSTR, though, we actually simplify this paradigm, and we are able to sort of combine steps. And so the FROSTR approach, where normally you need to have this round of communication back and forth, I'm going to commit, okay, you're going to commit, now I'm going to sign, okay, you're going to sign. We can combine these, and combine these steps together to where basically the FROSTR approach is much more simple. You split up your original secret into the keys, you distribute those keys to other signers, and then you simply make requests for signatures. It's a single request protocol. So it makes it amazingly simple in that regard. Okay, but this is all theoretical. How do I actually use FROSTR, you might ask? And so we have one of our apps, our flagship app, it's called Igloo Desktop. And what it simply allows you to do is put in your INSEC and then split it up into different keys. And then what you might do with those keys is move one of them into Igloo Desktop, which has a signer, one of them into Igloo Web, which we will hopefully show off, which has a signer, and then maybe you put the other one in cold storage, or any other shades of gray of whatever kind of key setup you want. And then the signing flow is really cool. So your signer in Igloo Desktop and your signer in Igloo Web, they'll talk to each other over Nostr. So your keys talk to each other over Nostr. That's pretty cool. And they contribute partial signature. I say, have fun staying poor to whoever, and I send that to a Nostr relay, and my other guy on Igloo Desktop is listening. He contributes his partial signature, and in a second, I have my signature back, and Primal didn't know. They didn't know I used a multisig to create that signature. So it's
Quick
pretty
question
cool.
to the audience as well. How many of you are familiar with Nostr? Way more hands.
Okay,
Wow. So we're leaning heavily on the other stuff. Is what we're doing with the protocol.
Yeah. And this is a video that probably won't load. And this is, you see here, this is an example of our signing flow. It's very fast. You actually just missed it. Oh, is it actually going to load here? Let's see my signer. I have an event log over here. And I've got this other signer in my browser. And now I'm going to sign a note. That fast. So that is what it looks like to sign, and then we can open it up and we can view the payload and look at all the data that was committed. Okay, so really any device can be a FROSTR signer. This is what's so cool about Nostr, is that an HTML page can be a signer in Nostr world. Anything can be a signer. So in a lot of ways, we see that our future work needs to be bringing the signing capability to every environment that people want to use. The phone, the server, the cloud, maybe that someone else hosts for you, the browser, Umbrel, Start 9, and then maybe even eventually hardware signers. And so we want to be in every single environment that you're at to make it easy to work with your multi-sig on Nostr. And remember, of course, always if you lose a device or you lose a key in your setup, you just destroy and recreate. Some might call this rotation, but it's just very much like you orphan the old shares, you kill them, and you make a new set in about 10 seconds, and then you're good, you're in a new setup. And so that's kind of the considerations for rotating or making a new key set.
Well, I have another question for the audience. So for those that use Nostr, how many of you have lost your NSEC? Whoa. What about just like misplaced your phone? So it's like you still have your NSEC, but it's also out there somewhere, maybe. Yeah. So FROSTR fixes this. Because if any of your shares get compromised, you can just rotate to a new set, and now those shares that are out there in the wild, maybe in an attacker's hands, are worthless.
So the rotation that's part of the Frost protocol that's built into Frost?
Well, there is no rotation protocol. We don't have a fancy rotation protocol. We want you to manually, the old-fashioned way, kill and destroy these shares, because these shares can recreate your secret, and they're in your custody. And so when you have a 2 out of 3, you lose 1 key, you have the threshold of 2, you're like, I'm going to destroy these, and therefore that other key I lost is orphaned. Yeah, so that's kind of the security model. And this is an open question. We didn't build out a protocol for rotation replication because we didn't want to over-engineer this process. But what is the ideal flow for this? How do you tell users what their threat model is with losing shares? These are questions I'm thinking about as an app developer, but right now it's all manual with your bare hands. Yes?
You are in trouble.
If you lose a threshold, you're in trouble. And one last thing I'll say is if your private key's already been doxed, FROSTR will not help you. Okay, and so now we're going to try and do a demo. And I'm going to do some setup here. So I'm going to create a QR code that will allow you to scan in a signer. And that signer needs 2 pieces of information. So every FROSTR signer needs a group. This is kind of like a group public key with information about the group of signers. And then a share, which is basically the private key. And so I'm going to make one QR code that will allow you to set up the signer and pull in the group. And then there will be one QR code to pull in a share. So let's try and do this. Yes, I'm gonna go to snort.social and let's see if we can sign in. Okay, we got the sign in. There's the first request. Let's try and send a note.
Fingers crossed. You all your apps open?
I didn't have mine open. Okay, keep your phone open. Keep your phone open. You might see some. There's some partial signatures here. You might see that. Is it maybe a FROSTR issue? Should I refresh?
There's only 7 keys online. We're so close.
6 of 12, largest Nostr multisig of all time.
Enable zaps on that, quick.
Okay, we have 4 minutes for questions. Yes.
Zaps are outside. Zaps aren't protected by.
Well.